So if you've been an avid watcher of the Miami Heat this past season, you'll sit here and agree with me when I say that this season has really not lived up to expectation. With the Miami Heat currently being 19 and 18, being a 7th seed in the Eastern Conference, this is not really where we saw ourselves. We saw ourselves around the 4th to 5th seed in the conference right now. Only teams maybe being able to eclipse us being Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Boston right now in the regular season. But the main reasons why this team has not really lived up to expectations this season is, one, while a lot of teams got better over the offseason, the Miami Heat relied on its talent getting better, and overall this team taking a jump internally instead of externally. But that's been the case. Bam Adebayo has taken a jump in his game, being more aggressive on the offensive end, taking the 15 shots per game that he says he was going to, not looking shy to take the shots he wants to, and overall has been one of the best paint scorers in the NBA while being the most switchable and best defensive big in this game. Tyler Herro has been a revelation this season, shooting as efficiently as ever in his career, scoring at the highest level he has in his career, while also developing a playmaking game that has allowed Miami to, handle some missing Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler in the lineup at times, and has overall been great for this team. This team has 3 20-point per game scorers, so why are they this bad? Well, or this mediocre, I should say. One, the size. The Miami Heat lost PJ Tucker, who wasn't any big already but played bigger than he is, and they didn't really replace him at the 4th spot, so we slid Cody Martin, a guy coming off our bench that gave us a lot of production. And while Caleb has been great for this team, shooting 39% from 3, giving us great perimeter defense while guarding a lot of bigger players than he already is and doing some pretty good job. But simply him and Bam, neither of them being over 6'11", and Bam averaging 10 rebounds a game this season, which is great, but this team just can't rebound. We're 28th in the league in rebounding, and while that doesn't show our overall rebounding skill, because as a team we're the slowest team in the NBA, which means there's less possessions, which means there's less rebounds to get, so the best stat to look towards that would be like rebounding percentage, and even then we're still only ranked the 24th best rebounding team in the NBA by rebounding percentage. That's a large problem on this team, simple fact that we had no size on this roster, which was a problem coming in, but we were hoping that the offense that we were able to produce the year before, even though we weren't above top of the NBA, our defense was really what kept us in there. But being a middle of the pack offense while still being a top 10, top 5 defense is perfect for this team. That's how we normally rock. And while the Miami Heat kept up that type of defensive play, being 17th in NBA in defensive efficiency, we are now bottom of the league in scoring, 28th in pace, and overall this team is only 24th in offensive rating. And that's a large part because this team was relying on his 3-point jumper the last couple of years, and we've been the best 3-point shooting team in percentage. We've taken a lot of them and we're making a lot of them, but that's dropped down all the way to now 34% this season, and we're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA while still taking a ton of them. And this large part because guys like Gabe Vincent and Duncan Robinson and Max Strus all take a significant decline in their 3-point shooting this year, and overall guys like Caleb and Tyler that's been shooting 40% from 3 just really hasn't been able to keep up that percentage, even though Tyler's taking about 8.5 per game and shooting 40% from there right now. And lastly, this team's been the most injured team in the NBA, with collectively putting all the missed games from every player together. That's equates to about 120 games so far, literally ranking dead last in the NBA this season. And while injuries isn't something you can really control, and Jimmy Butler is gonna consistently miss games this season because that knee's acting up, and I don't think they want that to affect him when we get to playoff time. Overall, this team just, one, is not big enough to handle certain other teams. Our 3-point shooting is taking a steep decline, and injuries have been killing us. But in the month of December, that kind of changed a little bit, and we really saw what the Miami can do as we ranked the 5th best team in this month, going 9-6 in the month of December right now. This month, Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo saw some significant jumps in their game. Tyler Herro having probably the best month of basketball he's ever produced at 24 points per game on 47% shooting, 43% from 3, and averaging 6 rebounds per game and 5 assists per game, showing that elite playmaking. Well, not elite, but very good playmaking and elite scoring put together. He's also been great defensively this month with 1.5 steals, and he ranks 4th on the team in defensive efficiency this month, only behind Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, and Victor Oladipo. And in this overall month, this team has been doing great, but we've shied away from 3-point shot a little bit. While we are only taking about 3 less per game this month, we relied a lot more on Bam's inside scoring. Tyler's been a lot better inside the arc this season. So really, we've been hitting a lot of 2s while our defense has been top 5 in this month. That's really kept us that really helped us from still being the worst offensive team in the NBA this season. So what really is going to save this team this season. What is the answer to this problem? Well, I have multiple of them. Right now, this team still needs a big. It needs somebody next to Bam, either a 7-footer like a Miles Turner or something that can stretch the floor and play the center spot, is not shying away from physicality while allowing Bam to be the insane 4 that he was meant to be defensively, while offensively having the space to work on the inside. And we need, let's just face it here, Kyle needs to come off the bench. Earlier this season, we were looking at Tyler scoring, seeing every single time he scored 20 points per game, he were losing more than they're winning, and whenever he passed more or gained or over 7 assists, the Heat are winning more than they're losing. And I think the fix to that is Kyle coming off the bench, that he's playing against less elite talent, playing against bench players this season, for the rest of the season at least, which means he wouldn't have to, you know, put as much mileage and pain on his body, and wouldn't have to do as much. And right now, he's played the most minutes on this team, so at least you get him a little bit of rest. And him leading that second unit with Victor Oladipo, and whether it's a Max Strus or a Gabe Vincent coming on with him, he's able to lead that second unit because he's still a pretty good facilitator. But let's face it here, Tyler has been the better facilitator this season so far. It's been the better at the one. Tyler's been making some great looks going down or in the pick and roll. In fact, this season, Tyler Herro not only ranks 8th in pick and roll frequency this season among guards, but he ranks also in the 85th percentile in pick and roll efficiency, while Bang is ranked in 3rd most in pick and roll frequency. He's only in the 31st percentile in efficiency, but he ranks in the 85th percentile in passing in the pick and roll also. So Bam is a mix of scoring and passing when he does get that ball in the middle of the lane, as he's the 3rd, I think the 5th best paint scorer in the NBA. So whenever he does get the ball in the paint, that floater, that little 14-foot jump, 13 to 14-foot jumper that he has, or simply being able to go to the rim for layups, he has been great at all of those. And Tyler, as a scorer and as a passer in the pick and roll, has been great this season. Allowing Tyler to play the one more would allow him to be in the pick and roll a lot more. Bam, and they've shown some amazing connection on that, and Tyler's also shown some crazy vision to make some really good reads coming at the pick and roll, hitting guys in the corner, or seeing the rotations and knowing when to dribble it out and take that extra step so somebody can get open and hitting them on the wings or at the top of the key, or recognizing cutters when they do go to the rim. Tyler has been great at all of these as a passer this season. This would also take Jimmy a little bit more off the ball and make him more of a cutter, which would be great for this team, as that takes a little bit of wear and tear off Jimmy's body. This would also open up the shooters a lot more. I think Tyler is a little bit better at hitting Bam and shooters than Kyle has been this season, since Kyle just doesn't have any rim pressure going to the rim in the pick and roll this year. Overall, this just seems like the perfect thing for this team to do. Tyler Herro, I think this develops his playmaking a lot more and gives him multiple ways to be effective, as he's been above average defender this season, so you don't have to worry about him on that end too much, even though teams are still going to attack him because he's the weakest defender in the lineup. He's still the best offensive player I think we do have also in that lineup. So right now he's giving teams hell on that end, and I think putting him at the one allows him to not only guard smaller players, even though they're quicker than him, he's able to use his size a little bit to affect those guys while still being able to be the playmaker that he is. And I think this helps Miami significantly in the sense that this makes their offense way more dynamic. You have a 3-level scorer at the one instead of Kyle, who's pretty 1 to 2 dimensional, where it's either a 3 or the rim for some weird layup to get fouled. He rarely attacks in the mid-range unless it's that spin jumper or the occasional floater. But you give somebody like Tyler, has really 4 levels, can hit from extremely deep right at the 3-point line, great in the mid-range area, and has become better and better at the rim as time has gone on, as he's made that floater almost automatic this season. So I think definitely this would make the Miami Heat as good as possible. I even cooked up this trade right now, so let me know what you guys think with this one specifically. I think this is perfect. Of course, in this trade, the Miami Heat themselves receive somebody like Gary Trent Jr. that's a pretty good volume shooter and scorer that is really active with his hands, which is perfect for this team coming off the bench. You give them the 4 like Pressure Couture that's shown a lot of defensive potential while still having some touch from 3 to play next to Bam. And the Minnesota Timberwolves receive a point guard that fits their scheme a little bit more, not somebody that's going to take the ball out of Anthony Edwards' hands a little bit too much, which forces Ant to grow a little bit faster while giving them a little bit better center play coming off the bench in somebody like Hem Birch. And you can use somebody like Nas Reed in trade to find somebody that can give you even more scoring coming off your bench. And of course, they received the Toronto Raptors 2024 first-round draft pick in this, since they gave away all their draft capital to at least give them a little bit something that they can look forward to in the next coming drafts. And in this trade, the Toronto Raptors received the Miami Heat's 2023 first-round draft pick, to sweeten the deal a little bit more, while they receive a more dynamic scoring point guard. So this way you can either move Fred VanVleet for something else, or you can push him on the bench. It would give you even more bench scoring that you definitely need, while still giving your starting lineup a little bit more dynamicism, in the sense that D'Angelo Russell is more of a 3-level scorer than Fred VanVleet is, who is either deep threes, or mid-range sometimes, but horrific at the rim. And you give them another young 4 that they can develop in Nikola Jovic, who I think fits their offense a little bit more than the Miami Heat's timeline. Perfect trade, gives every team what they want, and in the sense Miami Heat don't need that pick right now since they're trying to win now, and this gives this team an even better look, and I think fits majority of this team problem when it comes to scoring off the bench and a big next to Bam. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is FLB. That's my time, and I'm out.